I want to bring in Terrell County, Texas Sheriff and retired Border Patrol agent Thaddeus Cleveland. Sheriff, you shared some photos with us that show enforcement actions just within the last week. Illegals taken into custody, some impounded cars used to transport illegal migrants. Tell us more of what you're seeing on the ground, and are you still seeing threats against officers?
Hey, good morning, Cheryl. It's always great to be on with you. And I shared those photos that you're showing now of the activity we had last week. And overall, and even the part of last week, we've been significantly down in apprehensions. Yes, summertime historically has been the slower times, but of course, under the Biden administration, we were busy year round. The photos you see are groups that entered here in Terrell County and were arrested by U.S. Border Patrol agents supported by our sheriff deputies. And then those two vehicles you see were, believe it or not, a Venezuelan and a Honduran that were allowed into the United States under the Biden administration to come in for asylum purposes. So they're still coming down into our border region to pick up people. And as we've said before, this is something we're going to deal with for decades.
No, certainly, and that's it, the border story has changed, and it's really been incredible. But the other question I had for you are, Christy, I'm talking about threats against her. She's moved her family. Are you still seeing that happening within your ranks?
And I'm sorry I missed that one because you did ask me that before I ended. And no, down here in Terrell County, in the Big Bend region of Texas, we haven't seen that. And any assaults on our Border Patrol agents or on our Sheriff's Office deputies. But what we do encounter are people that when they do enter the border region, cross the border legally, they don't want to be apprehended. So if we encounter them out in the brush, they typically run. If we encounter them on the roadway, they lead us in those high-speed pursuits. But overall, the public, our residents, both red and blue, however they classify themselves, they're very supportive of the law enforcement efforts that go on along the border and out here in this region.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that your officers are not seeing what others in other parts of the country have been, these ICE agents in particular. California Governor Gavin Newsom blasting the president and filing a formal request for records from the administration, explaining why dozens of armed Border Patrol agents showed up at his Friday news conference. This was in downtown L.A. Newsom was speaking about redistricting. Federal agents arrived. 2 arrests were made. DHS says one man was a drug trafficker, the other a Trinidad gang member. Newsom wrote on X, Trump's use of the military and federal law enforcement to try to intimidate his political opponents is yet another dangerous step towards authoritarianism. This is an attempt to advance a playbook from the despots he admires in Russia and North Korea. Sheriff, your reaction to what you saw happen in Los Angeles?
Well, I think I have to go back to that last question and just mention that, of course, what we're seeing take place against ICE agents and Border Patrol agents is because of rhetoric like Gavin Newsom's that lets the rest of America, who may not have the same beliefs in immigration or law enforcement, it allows them to go out and just, act recklessly. And it puts not just Border Patrol agents and ICE officers in danger, it puts the public and U.S. citizens in danger, as well as those that we're out trying to arrest or those that may be in our custody. But going back to what took place there in L.A., look, Greg Bovino, who's the commander down there, a Border Patrol agent, someone I worked with up in Washington, D.C. at our headquarters, great American. And like the rest of ICE and Border Patrol agents, look, we took oaths to protect the Constitution, protect Americans, and they're going out and doing exactly that. It's something that they weren't allowed to do the previous 4 years, and they've been hungry to go out and do their jobs, and they're finally getting the opportunity to. And again, I have to leave it with that. This rhetoric coming from the left, whether it's Gavin, whether it's other state leaders or even congressional leaders that continue to drive home the fact that this is wrong and make it all right for people to go out and harm or assault U.S. Border Patrol agents and ICE agents. That's what's wrong. That's what's spurring most of this nonsense that we're seeing.
Right. No, certainly. Before you go, I want to ask you about this. There's this government surplus auction company. They're reportedly in talks with the Trump administration to return up to $350 million worth of unfinished border wall to the U.S. government instead of selling it off. Now, President Trump recently slammed the Biden administration for halting construction of the wall and selling pieces of it for pennies on the dollar, Sheriff. What do you make of that? And what is happening with the wall, in your opinion, down there? Do you want to see completion?
Oh, Cheryl, most definitely. Of course, we don't have wall all across the U.S.-Mexico border, and it's not needed. I know you and I have discussed, of course, the Big Bend region you're familiar with. We have what I like to call a God-made barrier with the Rio Grande River cliffs, up to 1,000 foot, 1,500 foot tall. But and also that fencing is coming through our county on Highway 90 daily. So it's great to see the administration get back to building fence. And it's just, Americans have to understand, it's just not the fence that stops people. It's everything that's included in that fence system. It's roads, which is part of the infrastructure. It's lighting, it's cameras. All of that works together to make those areas that Border Patrol decides where the wall goes. It's not President Trump saying, well, let's put it here. It's the professionals, U.S. Border Patrol, saying where they need it, where it will work. And that's what makes Americans safer and also helps deter illegal alien traffic in those areas.
Well, I mean, I think, obviously the border is secure for the most part now, but to make this a lasting story, isn't that the technology that you need to reinforce the job that the Border Patrol agents are doing so that they have the tools at hand moving forward for years to protect the border and make sure that something like what we saw under the Biden administration never happens again?
Great point, Cheryl. And yes, that is what will, again, add to that border security piece, whether it's the fencing, the roads, the lights, the cameras, all of that will help make the border more safe, secure, and it will also, if it will also protect Americans if another administration comes in that isn't as fundamentally focused on the border security, and deportations. But it takes, again, someone in the White House that has a loud voice, letting the rest of the world know you're not going to come to our country illegally, and that's the foundation, really, of getting back to this safe border area.
And we have that right now. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, thank you, Sheriff, for being here. It's always great to speak with you.
Thanks, Cheryl. God bless you.
All right, you too.